so I have watched this whole series, and I just want to say to both of you, it's so nice to see some melanin up in there for the long female women melanin, because for years it was just like Essie Pather Murkison, right? For years.
Oh, yes. No, she was everyone.
Like she was the OG of the Law and Order franchise, and we
Right.
haven't really seen anyone since her. So I'm like, yes, yes, Danielle, Tamara, yes. I was so excited. Now, my first question will be for Danielle. What does it feel like to be the HBIC of this, iconic franchise?
It feels awesome. I told someone the other day, episode of the finale is about to air, and we were on set wrapping up episode 8. I think it was the showrunner I was talking to, and I said, we've been shooting for 4 months, and today I finally now realize I'm on the show.
Isn't that amazing?
I've been in shock. Like, I literally have been in shock this entire 8 episodes, because everything happened so fast. My friends and family look at me and they're like, you don't know what's happening, do you?
Clue.
It has not set into you. And I'm like, no, it hasn't. But now I'm like, okay, I'm very grateful to God, very grateful to everybody who has supported me. And I just want to continue, to do good work on the show and represent for my people, and hopefully this goes, a long time, but I'm
it shall, as long as y'all want it to be going.
Yeah, I'm grateful for every day, every opportunity, and just bringing this character, to life. So feels awesome.
Well, and I was really excited because it said organized crime. I am like the last of the dolls that loves a good mafia story. So I'm like, oh, Law and Order is going to the mafia. Oh, yes, I'm there for all of that right there. And we got you. It's Tamara, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And Tamara, we got you as the ex-wife to the head dude. I'm like, really though? That's what we're gonna do on Law and Order? Okay, I'm there for all of that. I'm there for all of that. So I want to ask you, Tamara, you said you have, at one point your character, Angela, says, I have nothing to regret, right? I have nothing to regret. Do you think that she rolled over on her ex-husband to avenge her son, or do you think she rolled over for that reason and to kind of try to open that door so she could hook up with Stabler? I'm just saying, because women make some crazy decisions for crazy reasons. I'm just saying.
Women do make some crazy decisions from crazy places. I think ultimately, I think first and foremost, it's about Rafiq. I think there is no forgiving a man that has taken your child. So once that's confirmed, I think she's ready to be on the right side of things and help them take down Richard in whatever way she can.
Yeah.
And then you got the whole messy situation with Stabler. I don't know if she's entirely convinced there's any way he can forgive her. How do you even though she didn't call the hit, it's still adjacent. She was had enough of a hand in it that it's gonna. I don't know if she expects him to bounce back from and regain his feelings for her.
And let's just acknowledge this for a second, because honey, that rooftop scene with y'all with the hand and the holding and the face, I was like, was it on the page like that? Or did y'all discuss how can we make this intimate and sexy without making it intimate and sexy?
Well, interestingly, I would say it's funny. You remember how it was written, Danielle. It was written like any other 9.5 weeks fantasy moment.
Right.
Angela opens the door, Stabler pushes her against the wall, and they kiss, and she wraps her legs around his waist, and they're feverishly taking each other's clothes off. And then they stop. It was kind of that moment, the very sort of hot, out of control moment. And I read it and went, okay, I guess we're going to do that. And Chris took me aside and he said, I don't think we should do this at all. It feels predictable. Mm-hmm. He said, I've done this before. We all know I can do this. And we've all seen Stabler in that way, which is not vulnerable at all. It's animalistic and all those things that he's, we're used to seeing him as. He said, why don't we approach this with a little more intimacy and gentleness, which actually I think scared the fans more because it made it seem like they actually really were developing feeling. Yeah.
And Tamara, let me just give you your flowers, girl. You've been in this business for a minute. A minute.
Yes.
I mean, I remember you from the AT&T commercials, okay?
Oh my gosh. That was my first job.
Was it really?
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah, my first job.
I remember you from that. But what I want to ask both of you is before we get up out of here, because I didn't took up all my time fangirling over y'all. But we love it. But I want to know how we're feeling about grieving over the last 15 months. We've had a pandemic, we've lost friendships. Some of us have lost loved ones. Do we think that all of that loss can be redefined at this point? And I'll start with Danielle first.
Well, I am a Christian, and I believe, what the Bible says when it says, that he'll give us beauty for ashes and that all things work together for the good. I truly believe that. And it has been a rough year and a half for people with COVID, and just personally, we're all going through our personal things. And then on top of it, we're in a pandemic and there's all this social unrest. And I thank God for, the George Floyd conviction. That brought me, I was on set that day. Eric LaSalle was directing that episode. And we were in the hood, in the Bronx somewhere. And I was like, if this verdict doesn't come out in a favorable way, I don't know if I'm going to be able to go on a set of Law and Order playing a sergeant
and be cool
and complete my day. Something in me is just would not be right with that, and thank God, it was a favorable outcome for us. And I was like, okay, I'll finish my day. But I do believe that things are turning around for a lot of people. And like you said, with Tamara, she's been in the business forever. I'm pretty new. I'm getting my opportunities now. And I just think it's hilarious that all this time that I have been putting in work in LA and stuff like that, I would get the biggest job of my life during a pandemic when
the
Lord.
What they say, sometimes that's how God works, right?
Oh, always. Always.
So
His ways are ingenious, his methods are sure.
TT, take us out. How do you feel about that same question?
Wow. Well, I feel like it's been an intense time. I feel like we're sort of over the midpoint for sure. And I think that that's definitely making way for a little PTSD. We're all sort of figuring out where we've the emotional terrain we've covered in this last year and a half, which is it's been pretty intense, and it's been pretty intense in all areas. But what I do think it's done, and I'm with Danielle, I think that as dark and, at times terrifying as it's all been, it's brought us together as a people, as a community. It's brought the truth to light, which I think can only be good, even if it's an ugly truth. And, in terms of the civil rights, we're in the middle of a civil rights movement, which I think is extraordinary and long overdue. So there are so many blessings that have come from this. But the interesting thing, I always say God speaks in paradox. And like you said, who knew that some of the best things that were coming to humanity were going to come through one of the worst times, this has probably been one of the scariest times in most everybody's life.
Well, ladies, it's been my absolute immense pleasure to talk and fangirl out over you this afternoon, wherever you happen to be.
Yes.
Thank you so much for the opportunity. I really appreciate it. And I cannot wait for this finale. I can't wait to see how it's going to turn out. I just need to know. Inquiring minds need to know. But thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Carla.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much.
Mm-hmm.